Hello, sorry for the late start. It's a couple minutes after 3. All right, so welcome back to Full Steam Ahead. This is Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math Crafts for Kids. I'm Sam, the Children's Librarian at the Ukiah Library, and today we are jumping into some rainbow science. So we are going to be making something called a spectroscope. It looks like this. Now you might be saying, Sam, what on earth is a spectroscope? And to answer your question, I will say rainbow science. No, I'm just kidding. It is an instrument that we can make ourselves that will split the wavelengths from light into their individual wavelengths so that your human eye will see them as a rainbow. So for this project, what you're going to need is some tape. I've got Scotch tape. I've got some other tape. I don't remember what it's called. Any tape will work as long as it's strong. You're going to need a CD. I have here an old self-burned Ted Nugent CD from about 10 years ago that doesn't even work anymore. I have a cardboard cutter. If you're going to be doing this with kids as a science experiment, which you probably will, I would highly recommend that you, the adult, use the cardboard cutter. I know you don't need me to say that, but for liability reasons I need to say that. You're going to need some scissors, a pen or something to mark paper with. You're going to need cardstock or cardboard, and you're going to need a paper towel roll. What I have here is 2 toilet paper rolls taped together because you can't use the small little toilet paper roll. It's not enough space. You have to have something longer. So if you only have toilet paper rolls, you can just tape them together and that's totally fine too. And that's all you're going to need. Now this one does take a little bit to assemble because you have to be careful not to smoosh your little spyglass when you're cutting it with the cardboard cutter. So doing this little slice in the front for the CD to go into to make your spectroscope takes a minute. So don't get frustrated like I did and smoosh your first try. Just be patient, it'll work. Okay, so how do we put this thing together? First, towards the bottom third of your tube, what you need to do is hold your cardboard knife at a 45-degree angle, so about there, and slice a slice that is like an arced curve into your bottom third of your tube. So that's going to be our first step. Bear with me, this is not the sharpest cardboard knife. There we go. All right, and like I said, if you're doing this as a science experiment with kids, I would recommend that you do this slice before you get started, because you know the kiddos, they're going to want to do everything themselves, as they should. You know, that's fun, learning experience. And I'm not sure that we want the kids to be slicing into cardboard with a very sharp X-Acto knife, right? So it might be a good idea to do this part ahead of time so that they don't get upset when you say, no, I'm not going to let you cut that. All right, so I've got my nice little slice right there. Okay, that went much better than the first time I did that. All right, so after you have cut your slice at a 45-degree angle, what you're going to need to do is trace the edge of your tube on your cardstock or cardboard, and then you're going to cut that circle out. I like to trace it a little bit bigger so that I can tape down the edges around the top of the spectroscope. So I'm just going to trace around it. And if you sew, you're going to know this term, you're just going to leave, oops, there we go, okay, I don't know why that was so hard. You're going to leave a little bit of seam allowance around your circle so that you can tape it around the sides without it slipping in and making a mess in your tube. Okay, so I just left a little bit of extra space around my traced edge. I'm going to cut slits all the way around so that it folds over neatly. And as we've talked about before, if you've got toddlers that are wanting to join in while the older kids are doing their rainbow science today, they can do that by being the ones who make all of the slices all the way around the circle, because we all know that the littler kids, and the older kids too, no shame, I still love cutting stuff with scissors, but the littler kids really love practicing cutting with scissors, don't they? All right, so on the top. So here's the bottom with our 45-degree slice in the tube. At the top, you are going to fold this piece of cardboard, or not cardboard, paper over, and tape it around the top so that you're blocking light out from the top of your spectroscope. So I'm going to tape around the sides. Here we go. And that's why I cut the slits, because I wanted it to look neat. So this way it will fold over neatly and won't have little bits sticking out. Okay, so there's one piece of tape. Go around some more. Oops. Oh no, my tape is so sticky that it keeps sticking to my fingers instead of where I want it to. Okay, just one more piece, covering the top so that light can't make it in, or rather, as you'll see in a second, so that only a small amount of light can make it in. Okay, so, oh, one more. All right, so we have covered the top of our spectroscope with a piece of paper. Now what you're going to do is cut a little slit in the top. Not a slit, like a little rectangle. So I'm just going to slice. Do a little slicing and dicing, and then I will show you. Oops. Just a heads up, it might have been easier to cut this little rectangle out before we put it on. Okay, so you're just going to cut a little piece out like that at the top. So we have our 45-degree angle slice at the bottom, and we have our piece of cardstock at the top with a little rectangle cut out. Now what you need to do is directly across from your slice, so the front of my slice is right here, you need to cut a little rectangle viewing hole right here. So I will cut it and then I will show you. Come on, do this neatly. I made such a mess earlier today. Let's hope I don't do that now. All right, I'm being super, super light-handed with it because I do not want to cut myself. I laugh because I used to work stock back in college, and I would cut myself with a box cutter all the time. So now I'm like really careful with them. All right, so cutting out my little rectangle. There we go. So there's my little viewing hole directly across from my 45-degree angle slice. And now we're almost done. All you're going to do is clean off your CD if it's really, really messy. And then you're going to slide it into your little slice. There we go, with the mirrored side facing up. Oops, I sliced that a little too far. I'm going to have to tape that in place. And that's why I have this big thing of tape, just in case I have to do this. I made my little 45-degree angle slice much too big. Okay, so I'm gonna have to tape my mirror into place. That's fine. Oh no! Oh, rookie mistake. My tape taped itself to itself. Okay, new slice. Here we go. Okie dokie, artichoke. We're not gonna make the same mistake twice, are we? Not today. Alright. Cut out a little strip so that I can use that to tape the mirror. So you're gonna take your CD, you're gonna slide it into your little slice that you've made, and if you're like me and you made your slice way too big, you're gonna tape it in place. Alright. Here we go. Stick some tape on the bottom of it so it doesn't go anywhere. Whoops, come back. Okay, it's not pretty, but it'll get the job done. Okay, so like that. Boom. All right, so now if you want to, you can decorate your spectroscope. I'm gonna hold on to this one. If you want to, you can decorate your spectroscope, you can paint it and use it for all kinds of different stuff. But basically, what it does is when you look into the view hole at the back here, with your mirror or your CD facing upward, and you direct the hole at the top towards light, you will see a rainbow reflected inside. Boom. And we see a rainbow because the CD is covered in tracks and pits, just like a vinyl record, except smaller than the naked eye can see. And when the light hits those tracks and pits, it diffracts, so it splits into its individual wavelengths. And because humans have the 4 color cones, we can only see in the rainbow spectrum. So that's why that diffracted light hits our eyes and we see a rainbow inside the spectroscope. So if you want to turn this into an experiment with kiddos, what you can do is you can go outside. It works best outside. Don't look directly at the sun, but point it up towards the sky. It works best on a day that's not cloudy or smoky like today. And you should see a really vibrant rainbow splashing all across the surface of the mirrored surface of the CD. You could also try pointing it at different kinds of lights. Maybe try pointing it directly at a candle flame. Try pointing it at halogen lights or fluorescent lights. Try pointing it at the LED lights in your home and see if you can see differences in what's reflected on the mirrored surface of the CD. And that is a really good way to get kids thinking like scientists and doing a little experiment. So that is today's little craft. We have made a spectroscope. We've made an instrument that splits light into its individual wavelengths, and then our human eyes see that individual or those split wavelengths as the colors on the rainbow. So I hope that you have got some good ideas for a fun science experiment to do with your kiddos this week. And I hope that you have a better time making your spectroscope than me, because look at how my second one went. Ah! It looks like a Muppet. What's that Muppet? The one that has the big, like, tubular head like this? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, there we go. My first one turned out really well. So yeah, you're going to look into it, and if you point it at a light, you should see rainbows. And if you're doing it with older kids, now would also be a really good time to give them, like, a pad of paper and a pen and have them walk around and look at the different lights and write down the differences between how the rainbow is reflected, or if it's even a rainbow when they point the top of the spectroscope at those different light sources. Get them thinking like scientists, man. All right, so this was a nice short episode, didn't take too long. I hope you guys got some good ideas, and next week we will be back with a different science, technology, engineering, art, or math craft. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.